So did you know that over 60,000 Americans are moving from the United States to Spain every single year? Well, here's the reason why. A lot of people have been seeing that since the pandemic, prices, quality of life, work life, all that stuff back in the United States is just going crazy. And a lot of people want to go out and experience something different that maybe has a little bit more of a work-life balance. Cost of living might be a little bit cheaper, and especially those that are able to work remote since the pandemic. Now, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jens. This is the Nomad Jens channel. And recently, my wife and I just moved from the United States over to Spain, in part because of some of those reasons. So in this video, I'm going to go over, if you are going to be moving from the United States to Spain, what are some of those things that you might need to expect, especially when it comes to the digital nomad visa, which is the route that my wife and I took in order to get over here. So starting off, how do you even possibly get the digital nomad visa, or maybe even the non-lucrative visa, to even come over here legally and be able to work over here? Well, first off, the non-lucrative visa is a non-working visa, so you have to be able to support yourself either through passive income or savings for at least 1 year, or if you want to get it for longer, you have to provide that proof that you can stay there longer. Now, for the Spanish digital nomad visa, there are going to be some different requirements, and if you apply for it in the United States, then you can stay in Spain for up to 1 year, then you can renew. But how we did it and what we would recommend is get all the paperwork and everything ready, go over to Spain, and then apply. Now, it is that little bit of risk in knowing, are you going to be able to get the visa? So that's something that you might just have to take into account. If you do it that way, you can get the visa for up to 3 years before having to renew. So I'm going to put the general requirements just here below and kind of show you and go over briefly what some of these requirements are in order to be able to get over here to Spain legally. Starting off with number one, is your work going to let you be able to work remotely outside of the country in the first place? I will say it is going to be a lot easier if you are a 1099 contractor versus a W-2. It still is possible as a W-2, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult because your company has to set up an entity for tax purposes here. So if that's a little difficult, they might not want to allow you to do that. Whereas if you're a 1099 contractor, you're just going to have to show that you have the work experience or a degree in that field, which I'll go over a little bit later. It does make it easier because since you are a contractor and you have the clients, you're just going to need to show some proof that you have been doing that for a while and you meet the income requirement. Which brings me to part number two, which is the income requirement. Now, they did just raise it this year, and so if you're applying solo, I think the new requirement is roughly 2,800 euro. And if you come with a partner, it goes up to about 37 or 3,800 euro, and that equates to a little over $4,000 a month. So if you're able to prove that through bank statements and contracts that you make that much monthly for you and your partner that would be as a dependent, then you already meet that requirement. And that brings me to the next step of the visa requirements, which is number three, showing that you have some sort of work history or a degree and proof of income and bank statements. So when we came over here, we had to show proof that my wife had been working in the graphic design industry for at least 3 years. And you can do that through contracts that you have with these different contractors that you work with. Or if she would have had a degree, just get that. And then there are certain requirements on what type of document and how certified it needs to be. The other portion of it is showing 3 months bank statements and those contracts you have with those companies for at least that 3-year work history, and showing proof of that either through 1099 forms or whatever sort of documents that they might require. Now, if you're married and coming over, it's going to be a little bit easier because you just have to get your marriage certificate and certify that. If you're a partnership, it still is possible. It just might be a little bit more difficult in what documents or what proof you might need to show that you're a partnership. The next step would be a background check. You have to get that done federally to show that you haven't had any issues with the law in recent years, and to just show you're not going to be a problem in the new country that you're going to. It's really easy. You just get your fingerprints done. You can do it at the local post office. And then the last thing I would say is when it comes to proving the contracts and the documents that you have with the company, you are going to need to get certain certificates of existence stating that that business that you're working for has at least been in business for over a year. There's going to be some more specific requirements regarding that. So if you have more questions, you can drop them down below, or I would personally just talk to a lawyer. When we made that step to come over here, we reached out to a lawyer that specializes in the digital nomad visa, and it was such an easy process. We saw online on the different Facebook groups that you can do it on your own, but we thought it was just going to be a little bit easier to just hire a lawyer to take care of all of that stuff for us in terms of working with the government. All we had to do was get those certain documents and upload them to a portal, and then that would be taken care of for us after that. That kind of encompasses all of those basic requirements of what it takes to get over here to Spain as a digital nomad. Now, why are people coming over here? Well, since we've been over here, it just feels like it's a much slower pace of life. Back in the States, I had a great paying job and it was awesome, but I was constantly going and moving all over the place, and it felt like I just didn't really have a whole lot of time with family or friends. And so one of the things that was important to us and that we wanted to change was to have a change of career and a different lifestyle that would enable us to be able to slow down quite a bit. And even if it was making less money, that was fine. We just wanted to be able to slow down and enjoy life a little bit. And that's something that we've really appreciated with living here in Spain is in the mornings, we get up, we go to the gym, go on walks, go out and explore. Then by the afternoon time, we're having lunch, and then we get started with our work. Since in the afternoon in Spain is the morning over in the States, and so our clients are waking up at that time. We're able to start work in the afternoon, which is great because most of the Spaniards end up taking a siesta anywhere from like 1 until like 5 or 6. It pretty much just slows down. They're not necessarily taking a nap, but everything kind of closes down for a little bit, and it just makes it a lot more enjoyable because then we can get work done during that time. And then once we're finished, close up, and then we can go out and walk around the town, go out and get some dinner, go to some events and whatnot. So it's just been a lot more of an enjoyable process. The other things that I would say is we're out walking more, getting more sunshine, and since we're living on the island of Mallorca, we're able to go to the beach a lot more often, which is just enjoyable. So if you feel like this has been helpful, drop a comment down below, hit that like button, and if you want more content regarding the process of coming over here, our experience, different parts of Spain to explore, what to see, and just what it's like living as a nomad here in Europe and specifically in Spain, hit the subscribe button. I drop videos weekly. And other than that, thanks for watching and stay tuned because I think you might like this video.